Hi everyone, this is Mentor Tuba. I am highly excited to share that we have recently taken this initiative of posting PMI-RMP question of the week poll on our LinkedIn channel. And we will be sharing the video explanation of those RMP scenarios on our YouTube channel as well. This is the first video of this sort, so I think we should begin without wasting time. Let me read out the scenario first, and then one by one, we are going to discuss all the option choices, followed by the correct answer. The RMP scenario says that the risk management team identified a high probability risk and developed a contingency plan in response. However, when the contingency plan was implemented after the risk occurred, it was not successful. What should the risk manager do? Option A, seek authorization to deploy contingency reserve in a revised contingency plan. Option B, identify the driving and restraining forces that affected the success of the plan. Option C, design a temporary workaround until a more permanent solution can be found. And option D, perform a trend analysis to identify divergences from the risk response plan. Okay, so this is a situation which occurs very often in the real project and program management environment. And to be honest with you, multiple things could be done in this situation. But whenever you see a scenario, and the question is asking that what should you do as a risk manager, what should you do as a project manager, they are actually expecting you to know the very next step after that point where the situation is currently standing. And this is one such example. So let me help you understand the scenario first. This is about a project where a high probability risk was identified. So this is an identified risk and analyzed risk as well, where the probability is actually very high. It has high likelihood of occurrence, right? Which actually suggests that the chances of occurrence of this risk is, of course, way more than the other risk. So accordingly, you have come up with a response plan, which is also termed as contingency plan. However, when the the time to implement the response plan occurred, this risk also occurred, and probably the reason is that the contingency plan was not effective, right? So one way or the other, this risk is an issue now, right? It has been materialized, so it's not a risk anymore, it's an issue, because of the reason that the contingency plan actually was failed. So what should you be doing in this situation as a risk manager, or maybe as a project manager? See, whenever the primary risk response fails, and that actually makes the risk as an issue, or it could be other way around as well. Maybe the response plan suggests that when the risk occurs, in case of accept criteria, or in case of accept responses strategy, it would be other way around. Then when the risk occurs, then you are going to apply the contingency plan. It could be this way as well, or in case of mitigate or avoid or other response plans, maybe the other way around. If the primary response plan is not working, then you go with the secondary response plan, which is also termed as fallback plan. Right. If the fallback plan is available, and if it is not available, then you need to go with like a temporary or like some kind of a quick workaround till the time a more sophisticated solution is available, right? This is the regular answer to this situation. Now let's check the option choices one by one, and then we will connect this thought to the right option choice. Option A, seek authorization to deploy contingency reserve in a revised contingency plan. Revised contingency plan and approval on that, and maybe fixing the contingency plan. I mean, all of that is applicable. Like I said, there could be multiple answers to this situation, but as per the best practices, A is not the very next thing to do in this situation, because this risk already is an issue. It already has been materialized, and because of the you know uh, non-effectiveness of your contingency plan. So of course, one way or the other, the contingency reserve and the contingency plan is going to be updated, but not as a first step, right? The first step is that you need a fixation to that situation so that it doesn't get worse. So A is not the first thing to do, neither the root cause analysis and knowing that what went wrong and why it didn't work and what we should be doing to fix it, which is also like covering an option A as well. And option B and option D are also talking about root cause analysis. Option B is clearly talking about root cause analysis, identifying the driving and restraining forces that affected the success of the plan. Option B is the choice that most of the people went with when we posted this question on our LinkedIn poll. And I understand why, because, this is a common understanding that if something didn't work, you just, you are curious to find out that why. But again, it depends on the situation that if the situation demands a quick workaround or fixation, or the situation demands that you do a retrospect of that risk. In this situation, of course, the retrospect is not the first thing to do. Of course, you are going to do retrospect during the risk monitoring exercise and during the risk audit exercise. You're definitely going to do this thing, that why it didn't work, what was the issue, was team the issue, or was other factors the issue, which is exactly what the process of root cause analysis is. But at this point, you want something to fix the situation, right? Which is a temporary workaround or a fallback plan, whichever is applicable, right? And you want like to control the situation till the time you find a more permanent solution. And of course, to find a more permanent solution, you need to go with B, D, A, everything. The permanent solution cannot be found without doing root cause analysis, without doing impact analysis, without sitting with team and stakeholders and speaking to your sponsor in case of more contingencies. Of course, you need to do all of this, but as a later step, right? So A, B, and D are actually connected to permanent step, right? And option C is actually the very first and the very prompt thing to do in this situation. So option C is talking about a workaround. Workaround is like a solution to a problem. Workaround by definition is an unknown plan or an unknown step to perform for an unknown situation, right? So workaround is needed when something is an issue. An issue by nature, by definition, is a situation which happens only when a risk becomes an issue, or a risk materializes, a negative risk materializes, or an issue can also occur for like in the unknown capacity, when you didn't think of a situation as a risk and it directly comes to you as an issue. So in one way or the other, a workaround is to fix an unknown situation or an issue. So you need a workaround because this situation is also an issue now. And till that time you come up with a permanent solution, you are going to deal with this. You are going to deal the situation with this temporary workaround. So this is going to be the right thing to do. Why not option D? Perform a trend analysis to identify the divergences. D is like one or the other way, like reflection of option B. Trend analysis is also a way of doing root cause analysis, right? So you can perform root cause analysis in a variety of ways. Trend analysis is also very helpful because in trends you have the actualized data and you forecast your upcoming time based on the actualized data. So for that as well, you need more perspective, because trend analysis is also going to help you with the permanent solution, not for the temporary workaround. Could be helpful for the temporary workaround, but again, it could be only one way. C is more, is more solid option to go with, or more safe option to go with. So C is the right thing to do, and C is the correct answer to this question as well. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions or queries. Of course, I can give you some examples as well to help you further understand that how contingencies are applied, how fallback plans are taken care of, and how issues are understood and well taken care of. So reach out to me in the comment area or on this number, which is appearing in front of your screen. And we can have a more detailed discussion on risk management. I will see you very soon with a different PMP scenario. Till then, take care. Goodbye.